Good morning, everybody. Welcome to December 28th, 2020, Women's Health Revolution, the last show of 2020. We'll be back in just a few minutes. We have a wonderful guest for you today, Viktoriia Miracle, who's going to talk to you about purposeful time management. But we'll be back in a few seconds, so take a look at this reel.
At work, I was constantly feeling anxious.
But I'm feeling much stronger and clearer about it all.
For me, one of the many aha moments was how to breathe.
Welcome, and happy Monday morning. It's a little after 8 o'clock in the morning, and today's show is we're going to be talking about purposeful time management. I have a wonderful guest, and I'm going to talk about her in just a couple of minutes. But first, I just wanted to talk a little bit about what the track of the show is today. So if you've been watching the different episodes, we had an episode on finding your soul's purpose. We had an episode on getting your message out. And so as you can see, we're going down this trail of helping you realize your full potential, and whatever that means. There's a lot of different tools here, and it's a wonderful way to get some free education and help yourself on your path, whatever your path is. And it's so important that people clarify why they're here. I mean, I know that some people never question why they were even put on the planet. They just they have a job they go to every day, and it becomes working to live. And they maybe never find out what other purpose they might have here. And I believe that everybody is born with some kind of purpose, some special gift that they're supposed to give to the rest of us that we're all waiting for. And what's really driven that home for me is I have a friend now who, somebody that I really, really love and care about, is actually in the hospital today. She is fighting for her life. And it made me start to reflect a little bit about time, because it has a way of showing us what really matters. And so when we think about, how are we going to spend our time here on this planet? What's the thing that if you look back at your life, what's the contribution or contributions that you want people to think about when they think of you? And we just never know how long our time is going to be here on the planet. So some of us find our purpose early in life, and we're fortunate. Some of us may go 3 or 4 shifts of different ideas, different pathways, before we settle into a place that really is the thing that feels like it's our rhythm, where we really feel like we found who we are. Once you have identified what your strengths are, what are the things that you want to, what's your message that you want to get out to the world, it becomes more and more important to, what are the steps for you to do that? How are you going to get that message out? And, as you can see, for those of you who know me, you've seen that, I have, I've published a couple of books now, and I have a TV show, and I'm doing more and more to try to get that message out there about my path, which is all about teaching people to how do you heal naturally without the use of drugs. And a lot of that is if you're out of alignment, if you're not on track with your purpose, if your time is getting sucked in other ways that are not good for you and your physiology, what happens is that starts to weigh on your physical system. And at some point, you may find yourself dealing with some kind of illness or a problem where you actually get taken down completely, and you're forced by the universe to have some time for reflection. So when I look back on this year, we've all been through this. Who would have thought that we would go through something like COVID? And what I think one of the benefits of COVID is, it's. I'm not trying to make light of it, but the benefit of it for those of us who are choosing to utilize this time well is we can drop in and we can do a little deeper dive into ourselves and see, if we're willing to look and see what are the places, like who do you want to be when at the end of the day, where are the places that you could improve? How could you, if you look in the mirror and you go, what can I do to improve myself? What can I do to be a better version of me? How do I show up more as a friend? How do I show up more as a communicator? How do I show up more as a businesswoman? What are the qualities that I want to have? And when you're looking for your purpose, that's one of the things you want to zoom in on. What's that image that you want to cultivate? That's really more of the authentic you. So if we chip away all that junk out there that we've been using to protect ourselves because we were injured, traumatized, whatever, and we start to get down to the real who we are underneath, and then we can really truly start to express our purpose. So I look forward to having you come back in 2021. We'll have some even more exciting material. We're going to do some deeper dives into brain health, into physical health, and what are some of the things that you can do to support yourself for those of you who are looking for support in that direction. And I will be doing some at least partial episodes on essential oils and how do you utilize them to support yourself on your journey. So now let's talk about our guest today. So Viktoriia Miracle is an amazing woman. I met her. I don't know exactly when we did the symposium, but we did a symposium together and we were on the same panel. And it happened to be that Janet Atwood was there, Kim Kiyosaki, Jack Canfield, they were part of the same, on the same stage that we were. And I didn't know Viktoriia very well at the time. We'd run into each other at a couple of events, but I started to, speaking of chipping away, I got to see like who that woman is a little bit more each time, I would run into her and I thought, she's got some interesting things she's talking about here and she has quite a story. But let me tell you a little bit about her, her creds. So she calls herself an energetic time management expert and an online marketing strategist. She's also a best-selling author, and she loves supporting women entrepreneurs to do the right things at the right times based on our natural, unique rhythm and flow. And that in itself is a big statement, because how many of us at the end of the day are happy with how much we're accomplishing or the way that we're accomplishing it? So how do you accomplish what you want to accomplish without the burnout and the stress around it? And that's one of the things that Viktoriia is going to talk to us about. So she's helped hundreds of entrepreneurs. She developed something called the Purposeful Calendar Technology, which she's going to talk about. She developed this system for energetic time management after working with her clients for 10 years, and she holds multiple certifications in mindset and physical specialties such as marketing, holistic health, brain body kinesiology, cosmo energy healing, neuroscience, and like she says, other words that sound fancy. I love her sense of humor. So you'll notice she has a bit of an accent. She was born in Russia, and I think that's one of the things I find so adorable and attractive about her is listening to her speak, because I think her Russian accent is really cute. She's funny. She's also a bit of an adrenaline junkie. So as I understand it, she's done some skydiving. She also likes to ski, and she also, she's also a meditator. And of course, I'm always attracted to meditators, having meditated myself for like 45 years, every day. So she's an agent for change, and she brings more consciousness to this world. And what I love about her too is she's a millennial. She's, a little bit younger than a lot of the people that I deal with. And I love that spark of energy that she brings to the table. So without further ado, I'm going to bring her in. So Viktoriia, you're coming in to the stream. There we go. Welcome.
Hi everybody. I am so excited to be here. Thank you for such a warm introduction.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy to have you, and I love that we're going to wind up the year with, like, how do we get this is a great way to help people get on track for 2021. If they start to understand that they could plan their time a little bit different, maybe they could handle things a little bit differently than what they've been doing, and then there is a different choice than what we're used to. So, but before we get into how to plan our time and everything, Viktoriia, you have, I mean, coming here, first of all, coming from any country, migrating, leaving your family behind, everything, coming to another country, making yourself a successful businesswoman, making yourself a home, creating friendships, that right there says a lot about you. That's a tremendous accomplishment. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and why did you leave Russia? What made you come here to the United States?
Oh, what made me come here? Travel. That was a totally accident. So I don't have amazing story around it. I came to America. Can I be really honest? Like,
Yeah.
I said that I will be never living in America. And right, the universe doesn't know the word never. Mm-hmm. So I ended up just traveling to Miami after moving from Paris and meeting a girl, and she invited me to New York, and I went with her, got an offer job in just 7 years. As of January is going to be 7 years I'm here.
Wow.
That's what's called a destiny. And I lived in New York for a while, for years, and been on this burnout, go mode. That's why it's so important to me. How do we find that harmony? Because balance is a myth. We to not have a balance, like harmony in what we do, and this calm reaction to everything and being happy with accomplishment that we do. And that's why it's so important to me. And I have really crazy depression in New York. I've been secretly depressed. I won't tell anybody. I feel so embarrassed to tell my parents that I've gone so far, and I'm just feeling so unfulfilled and miserably feeling like I'm failing in my life. And what really, really helped me, it's to, when I sat down and asked myself, like, what is here? What am I missing? What am I pretending not to know? The answer got that I was off purpose. But I remember that day, and I just said to myself, I was like, okay, I'm gonna find that purpose. Like, sometimes you're just so excited, like, okay, purpose, what is it? Let me find it. And spending another year, I got even worse. I was even more depressed because I couldn't find it. I was like, what is in my life purpose? What am I here to do? Who am I? And I couldn't find answers, and it got me even worse. And I did abuse drugs and partying, and it was even worse than I could have even possibly imagined before. And what really got me present, when I realized, you know what, I'm here in my Central Park apartment, sitting in New York, and not even going outside of my apartment for 1 month. And I thought, you know what, I am just going to focus on today. Like, I got to get out of this apartment at least today. And that what really got me present. It's taking it day by day, setting intention, being clear, okay, what is the purpose of today? Not my life purpose, but like, what am I doing now? What I want to live and close my eyes with today and feeling amazing. And that's what really brought me to back to life.
That's such an important point, because I think a lot of people, what you're talking about is getting really present, being in present moment. And what I see when people, and also I have also dealt with depression. So I know, and I promise you, I'm going to guess that a lot of our viewers have as well. It's sort of it's not something that a lot of people talk about. And a lot of people would go to, like you say, self-medicating, right? Drugs, alcohol, whatever, numbing out however we can, so that we don't have to feel those very uncomfortable feelings. Yeah. But within those feelings, when you dive into that depression and you dive in and you let yourself like explore what's really going on, there's actually oftentimes is when you find the treasure, because and it gives you an ability to be compassionate with others who are also maybe dealing with that same thing. So, but being in present moment is really important. So, and what I mean by that is you're not in the future and you're not in the past, and that's what you're talking about. So, what was the thing? Was there a specific thing, do you think, that made you think, oh, I should be more here and now? Do you think it was a conscious thing on your part, or it just kind of happened?
I feel like I was just exhausted of looking for that life purpose and not getting it. And of course, I felt like a failure and everything, but I was just so exhausted to listen to what I have to do, because I was like, I don't have to do anything. Like, I just want to live this day amazingly. And I will be so happy. I don't care what other people think, how I must look, what I get to accomplish in life, but what I get to feel at the end of the day. It's just it was too long for me to stay in the drift. And I say it's always right after breakdown, there is a breakthrough is coming. And maybe I stayed a little longer. Maybe that's not a long, I don't know. I just had my own breakdown. Maybe some people has their years in that. Maybe it's one day. And that's how it's our learning curve. It's our growth on how fast do we catch that and we bringing ourselves back.
Yeah,
and that's what essentially I love about my philosophy, just living it day by day. Of course, you got to have visions, and I call it goals, but not the SMART goals. It's actually my definition of goals. It's goals that organized and aligned to your life and soul purpose. Once they're not there, it's not gonna work out, because mine wasn't, and I got even worse. I got even more depressed because it wasn't aligned with me. So it's really important when you're setting up the goals and vision, but what you get to focus on and what you can focus on and control, it's right now. It's what am I doing right now? Who am I being right now? Even interacting with you, or having a food, or working. Am I being present? Because the future, it's now. There's no future. This is already happened and it's now, right? So all we have, it's now.
Yeah. My teacher, my spiritual teacher, she says, the past is like a canceled check. It's gone, So this is it, and I know for me, a lot of times it's like, okay, in this moment, how can for me, one of the questions I ask is, how can I support another human being? That's part of my purpose, is helping support other people to be their best, right? And and yours is as well. So let's talk a little bit about when you, how do I say this? Was there something that kind of switched in you where you went, yeah, that's that's one of the main things I'm here to do for people. Like, because I know that, what you do with time management is awesome, but what made you switch into that? Was there some kind of specific event, or?
Yes, and that is for Women Health Revolution TV right now here, and that was my major health breakdown. Mm-hmm. And like I said, it's breakdown leading to the breakthrough. So I catched myself, I removed myself from toxic around and toxic surrounding, because I could not stand with I love my friends, and I wanted to go out and I wanted to, please people and said, yes, let's go. And what I done at first, I moved out. I moved to California. That's where we live. And I met Carly here in Los Angeles. And I started to looking for, okay, what am I doing? Like, what business do I want to create? A business? What I create? I quit my employee job, and it was just keep going. And eventually I found myself in coaching. And then I decided, okay, I loved it, in-person events and everything, but I knew the future, it's in an online space. And I really wanted to reach more people with that message that I found my purpose. Oh my gosh, like, you guys gotta have it. It feels so amazing. It feels so great. And I decided to launch myself online with the show and summit, with interviewing 25 people that called Millennials on Purpose. And, with a to-do list just a mile long. I was so excited to see how it's coming together. And but in one day, in working in co-working space, I started to feel my right eye was just suddenly started to tear up, and I did not understand what's going on. So, I always thought to myself as a very confident person, however, when I came to sending my emails, cold calling, to ask speakers to give their hour of their time, I started to hear negative talk behind, in my mind, in the back of my mind. And I am going to do something wrong. You have an online business. Who wants to collaborate with you? Like, if you ever have this thought, like, this was just like hitting my mind. And after almost being a year in business, and I really wanted to get online because I want to have freedom. And I wanted to reach more people and impact more people with the message that I had. I was operating like 14 hours a day, like 12 hours a day, because we set a deadline for the interviews, and I had to meet the deadlines. I had to. And, the flip side, right, was I loved it creating content, and I loved it, and it felt like I was, oh my God, I love it to do it. But the 14 hours and 12 hours a day, it's not that I dreamed of. Have it ever happened for you that the dreams just started feels like a job? And, rewinding back, it's just rewinding back to my right eye. I initially blamed AC and decided to go home and work from the bed. That's a beautiful online business. You can choose where you're working. And I went to the car, just opened the door, sit down in my car, and I thought, okay, let me just look closer. Maybe there's something in my eye that is keep tearing up. And what I noticed when I opened the mirror, that there was nothing. And that I was just almost closing, and I was like, I cannot blink. My right eyelid wouldn't move. And it was like a shock. I was, what's this happening? It never happened to me that I couldn't move any part of my body, that I couldn't feel it. I was just scared. And I started to drive home as fast as I can, and just slamming on the brakes in the drive. It was just like racing inside of my room, just to look at myself in the mirror and the light. And what I found, that not that my right eyelid wouldn't move, but half of my face was paralyzed. It looked like I had a stroke. I didn't recognize myself. I was so terrified. And then I thought to myself, oh my gosh, like, how I'm going to interview people. In 3 weeks, I got to interview people. And I started to just go to this chatter. Oh my God, how I'm going to get these things done. Because the deadline is set. And I was like, oh, wait, stop, Viktoriia. This is not what you get to think about it. Your health, it's on the line. And while I was chasing a growth of business, I totally forgot about health, which is very important value to me. I'm holistic health certified health coach. I always check on my health. And I saw a doctor in a few hours, which just happily happened that my housemate had a girlfriend, and it was 14 February, Valentine's Day. They have a dinner. She was coming over, and she's a neurologist. How lucky I was. That's why I have her, I guess, in my life, that she was diagnosed me with Bell's palsy. And Bell's palsy, it's a condition that causes one side of your face or both sides of your face to be paralyzed. And after my diagnosis, I remember my friends would tell me, you look fine. However, my taste, I wish I could show you a picture, but my taste and my hearing was severely affected. I had to tape my eyelid to go to sleep. It wouldn't close. It's very uncomfortable. I remember just walked back to my room, and I asked Liliana first. I was like, how long does it take? It's like 6 to 8 months. And I'm like, what? Oh my God, like, how I'm going to interview all those people with this alarming face. And she said that sometimes it stays forever. And when she added this, it just hit me.
Oh, great. That's really what you want to hear.
I walked back up to my room. I just walked back out to my room and I lied down and I started crying. Like, oh my God, like could be because I work, like, and I asked what happened? Like, why this is happening? Because you overwork, overstressing. It's all because of overworking and overstressing. I was like, this is all happening because I wanted to launch this something or do this business. This is insane. Like my appearance can be shifted. And look, I asked myself that day, again, this question, what am I pretending not to know? Where am I off track? And then I remembered, oh my God, the ancient secret that I totally forgot while this 2 weeks just chasing a growth of my business and wanted to just expand my business, but not in a healthy way. The purposeful calendar, that a technology that we're going to talk about, it's an energetic time management system that tells you the best time to perform certain activities at a certain day based on your birthday, the day, month, and a year. And I came back after applying the system. I've been living on it for years, but I've never used it in business. And I just was thinking it's just about my life. But my business became my life. As when you're an entrepreneur, your life becoming your business becoming your life. And after applying this system in 3 weeks, my Bell's palsy was gone. And ironically, I found my deeper purpose in creating purposeful Millennials on Purpose show. That I felt that this is my purpose and this is my mission to bring the system to the world. And right now, this is called Purposeful Calendar.
Well, I'm going to put up a link here. So for people who, you can take a picture of this, everybody. That's the best way, is just take a little screenshot. So how did you, it's interesting because I've actually worked with clients with Bell's palsy and I've had really good results. So I'm sorry we didn't know each other sooner. Because I did have somebody I was able to help in 3 days with that.
That's awesome.
But you know, it is important what you were saying about being in alignment, you know, and I started at the top of the show about that. It's like, if you're off, if you're not on track with who you are, and there's this disconnect, then you are setting yourself up for potential health challenges, and also communication problems, and also relationship issues. It sort of kind of spreads into everything. Nothing is isolated. A lot of times people think, my health is over here, my emotional house is over here, my business is over here, you know, and instead what I'm trying to do with Women's Health Revolution is from the inside out, you know, work on this part in here, our heart, our soul, our purpose, and that radiates out into everything that we do. So I'm just curious, okay, the one thing I don't know if you want to share this, but how did you stumble on the calendar itself? Like, where did that come from that you got turned on to that? It sounds like yeah. So that would be an interesting story a little bit to hear about.
Yeah, that's another story. Do you have like 2 hours? I have so many stories.
No, but tell us what
that
you
was
can.
another breakdown. That was another breakdown, and I skipped this part because when I moved to California, I decided to start a business, not to work anymore for somebody else. That's what my understanding. I always want to start business, and I've been an entrepreneur since I was 17. I had pizzeria, flower shop, and so many different things. And always I failed a lot, and then I came back to work for somebody else. But my heart has been always in entrepreneurship. So I started to search to what do I got to do. I switched for like 5 businesses. At first I was into chocolates. I brought like 50 pounds of chocolate, the cocoa beans from Costa Rica.
Oh wow! Okay,
that's where it kind of ended. And I didn't want to gain more weight. I was like, I don't know if I want to be in this industry forever.
Yeah.
And there was workout apps and just the different things. And I was just searching through and when I found coaching, I started to plan my days and I got to accomplish this. I got to accomplish this. Like I get to create a website or whatever. There was just the first of the name, domain. And I was realizing that I'm just failing. Like I have so many things to do. Like how many of you have so many things to do? It's never ending. And I thought, okay, my coach told me you got to plan your weeks on Sunday and sit down, dedicate some time to it, because otherwise you won't do it. And you got to sit down and plan. So what happened with me, I planned it out. I scheduled in my calendar. I sat down. I'll be like, nope, can't do it right now. I don't feel it. It's like, I can't do it. I don't want it. But it's not that, of course, there's don't want it. It's our traumas and stuff, but there's a like, I don't feeling it. And another day I will sit down and I'll plan the whole month in 1 hour. I started to notice those different energetic and body feeling in my body. I was so into, and I was like doing yoga every day and just sometimes twice a day. And I started to really listen to my body after having the depression and everything. And what I've noticed, that's one day I'm like on fire to do some certain task. And another day, I just want to be by myself. I'm like, why is it happening? Like, something is wrong. Why people tell me to plan the days on Sundays? Like, who created this even week thing? Like, what is Monday? What did the 7 days come from?
That's a great point. Like, yeah, exactly. Great. It's great that you became conscious enough to even ask those questions, right? Like, okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So I started to research. I love it. I started to research. I was like, where is it coming from? And you guys, there's actually a week called Why 7 Days. I was like, wow, somebody actually wrote a book on it. It's amazing. And look, when I started to ask for a question, when you start to ask a question, the answer starts to come in.
Right.
And one day my breath work teacher, you were speaking about breath, or in your reel was somebody I really learned how to breathe. And I had the breath work teacher, and I shared with her this. I was like, how do I just get off this frustration? It just feels not natural to me. She's like, I have a teacher. Oh my God, you probably, like her first seminar will be amazing for you. She have like color-coded days and things. I'm like, okay, I'm open. I'm open to learn anything. It just feels that the timing is off and I don't know other way. Like there must be better way to organize time. And it's not about mechanism. It's about just really being and feeling it. Like no matter how sometimes I plan, like creating content, I'll sit down and I just am feeling it. And another day, like whole day's interview will be, and I'll just don't feel like talking to anybody today. So I started to notice those shifts. And she shared with me the part of the purposeful calendar system that just like blew my mind. The 9-day system, that there are actually cycles that is going on with us, and we all in them, yearly, monthly, and daily. And the 7 days a week, what I found, it's absolutely wrong. There's no natural periodicity in it. As a human, we got correctly years, month, and the days. But the week, it's a conventional creation. Tom Ford, everybody knows Tom Ford, the car Ford, and he has a factory. It was like 100 years ago or so. And what they've done, a lot of countries tried 8 days, 10 days a week, 14 days markets, 8 days Romanian weeks. There are so many different things that humanity tried. And what they wanted in America in industrial time for people to produce more, because factories started to build up.
Right.
And what they started to check on, okay, how long people can go on without being just exhausted. So what they found is that people cannot go on for 7 days nonstop. They cannot go on for 6 days nonstop. But 5 days seem to be right. We'll give them 1 day off, and the 7 days will be there, go to the church, connect with your heart, connect with your vision, with the higher power, universe, you name it. So you believe again in yourself, and on Monday you're going back to the factories and producing more cars for them. So they said, okay, 7 days a week, it's done deal. The 7 days a week is the worldwide calendar right now. So that's where it actually ended. There was no debates, but it's all started in Babylonian time, that they looked at the telescopes and they saw 7 planets, which is false, because if they have a little bit more sophisticated telescopes, they will see a little bit further and they will know that it's not 7 planets only. So it started from a false statement, but it wasn't on purpose. On it wasn't intentionally, of course, but it's
Right.
also its purpose. It did serve its purpose. And I can go more into history, but you can read on the website, The Purposeful with double L Day. There's a blogs as well where I talk a little bit more about history, and you can, like, if you like the stuff, you can go and read this out.
So let's talk about so for the benefit of the people that are watching here today, one of the things you spoke about the other day when I was listening to you was you talked about the feminine versus the masculine version of how we manage our time. I think this is a key issue. Having come from myself from a business background where I was, very driven, and I worked, more than a 7-day work week, 40, 70-hour week. And because I was striving as a woman, feeling like we have women, I don't know how many women feel this way, but a lot of us, I know, is common where we feel we have to prove ourselves. We have to work harder than a man in order to, get out there and become recognized or be successful. So, which is not exactly a model that's really in keeping. And I think as we move into 2021, that's one of the things I'm seeing is I believe we're seeing this energetic undercurrent of the feminine rising. That's kind of the direction we're going in. So if you wouldn't mind just talking a little bit about the feminine versus masculine and how that plays into what you're talking about with energy.
Yeah, Carla, this is so right. We are moving in Aquarius, which is more feminine energy. And this year, and it's just happening right now, literally right now, we're in such a breakdown in the world, but we're moving through it. And that's how we already start feeling it. Our masculine and feminine, the differentiation on biological standpoint, because I didn't just stop in history. I went to biology, like, what's the difference? Because we are different. And I see men are killing it. They're like focused on thing, and they're just like going for it, and they're done, and they're awesome. And not many women really succeed in the space, but they're more start to succeed, but they have this very masculine attitude around them and health issues. And that was confirmed by physicians, validated by physicians. It's not that I'm making up this information. What happened in the biological and the body standpoint, so men are single focused. What that means, until they stay on task, until they're done, they're not turning around, they are finishing it up. They're very single focused. And that comes from instincts from the really long time ago, ancient time. They gotta get the food, they gotta kill it, they gotta get it, they gotta bring it. If they're gonna focus on 10 different things, we're gonna die a woman, right, with the babies. So they get to be really focused on the providing. And women are multi-focused. And what that means that no, we cannot multitask. We have no focus. Our focus is environmental. And what that means, if you ladies, if you can relate, if the environment is talking to you, it's like there's a pillow and like, you gotta move me. This is not the right spot. I just can relate. When I was listening to it, I was laughing so hard. It's like, you got to move me here. It's like we can see everything. We can feel it, sense it, everything. And this is on purpose, because if we have a baby and we get to watch them, but we get to prepare the dinner, we just forgot about baby because we're going to be focused on the dinner. We got to be everywhere. This is just our nature. And it comes from really long time ago. So what's happening when we are focusing a lot? Focus equals testosterone in the body. Men have 16 times more testosterone than we do. That's why they're so much better at focusing. And what happens when we, in a long period of time, over a prolonged period of time focusing, there's two issues. The first one, over a prolonged period of time, it gets released and it damages our organs. Adrenaline, because it comes with adrenaline from adrenal gland. So it damages our organs. And the second thing is, how do I say that in the English way? That so it works in our adrenal gland, and what it happens there that is damage our adrenal gland. It's like we burned out on our adrenal gland. It's just too much. It's
Yeah,
working too much. So we
it's a
get a
stress
burnout.
response. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a stress response. We get adrenaline, and it's burning out. So there's hormone issues, there is a burnout, there is a frustration, there's just exhaustion.
Mhm.
And this is fine. This is biological, right? Our body can handle it. It's so strong. But what happened on our soul level? Like, we're not radiant anymore. And for women to be radiant is natural. And that is the worst thing. I feel that is the happening when we are just on the just do, go get it mode. It's very masculine mode. So that's what's happening on a biological standpoint.
Yeah. So basically what you're saying is it's because we're built this way. We're designed this way so that everybody who's ever been a mother or been around a mother. I personally haven't been a mother in this life, but I think I've done it other lifetimes. But you see that a mom can be, they're literally. I remember one of my friends. She'd be like, I'm breastfeeding my child. I'm going to the bathroom. I'm reading the newspaper. Right? It's kind of like all at the same time, right? And part of that was it was a result of the little bit of time that that she had, right? I mean, basically her husband was he was out there, like you said, earning a living, and she stepped down from her work. She was a very successful designer to have a baby, and so something had to give, and she didn't want to turn over her child to a nanny. Right. She went to all that trouble to have a baby. She thought, well, I'm going to raise it. I want to be able to imprint my child. Right. But it's definitely true. Like women, we are multitasking. We will often see, almost like an eagle, we see a larger picture. Most of us now, not all women. We have, we're all kind of, there's variations, right? And like you said, maybe that has to do with testosterone levels. Some of that is brain function too, is how each individual's brain is a little bit designed a little differently.
And we got to get this under control because we're multitasking. Like that's what's happening is that we develop the ADD because we're just not aware of how we function. And we just keep multitasking, it's just our awareness, but you get to stay still, focus on work on one thing. Like you cannot work on 10 things together because that's what drives even worse your body. So you got to get under control this desire to change things up and move things out because it's not working either. And that's what's really important with the purposeful calendar. It gives you that intention, purpose at the day, because there's 9 different cycles and we're going through the monthly and yearly and daily. And when we are aware of what our body actually meant to do today, you not feeling like sitting down and content planning and you're not feeling, oh, I can't do this. Like you can push yourself through. Of course, you're a strong woman. You can push yourself through, but then you feel this tension and just frustration because it's not something that you meant to do today. And it could be so much easier if you follow your natural rhythms, your energy. Because when you sit down and you do something and you know that today, my day, it's white day. Today, I'm going to get things done really complete. It's a completion day. And that's why I'm wearing white. And it's also, there's a universal burst, like to have these colors, because the universe is talking with us through colors and codes. Doesn't talk to us through language. And I teach that in my workshop, why the colors, where they're coming from, what's the natural and philosophical, like biological explanation to it. And I'm going over a few questions here, open loops. And I'll answer you. I love that you bring this analogy with the baby also. They're like doing a lot of things because it's natural. Like where the system came from, I'll just give you a clue and it'll ask you a question and you'll get it right away. Why is it 9 cycles? When you was in your mother's womb, how many months you was there?
Right. So it's
the universe
already
telling us, like giving us the answer, because everything it's in universe answer in nature, what the natural rhythms are. And I go into more details in the class. But what I wanted to finish with, the question, my open loop that I started here, so maybe already because I'm going to different things, I want to just give you so much that you get to set this intention when you are following your energy and you're sitting down to do the things that you plan according to your energy. It's so much easier. Like, you're not feeling that you have to push yourself, because that's exactly how you feel today. This is exactly how I feel. Like, I was sharing with Carla, I'm like getting this big emails from ladies who've gone through the school and learned the system itself for themselves. They're like, oh my God, like I'm checking it every day and it's almost yes.
Mhm.
And I can say it 100% because energy is different. I know that's crazy things that's going on right in the world and right now, but like they said, it's amazing. It's amazing how I get aligned with it without even looking at it. At the end of the day, sometimes I just, okay, let me just finish the day and think what was going through and how I felt. And I'll be looking in my calendar and see, oh my God, this is exactly what I was doing. Because sometimes I forget, we're not perfect. But I have like a huge calendar next to my table. And when I'm not home, I just don't really see it. But it's always I'm amazed how much it's accurate to the calendar. When I dropped this misconception around timing and stuff to be so designed to, okay, there's a 7 days and that's how we'll leave. Like, there is the other way. And this is the way that is purposeful. And that is the way where just ease and natural more way.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is so important. Come back to our natural body rhythms and energies.
Well, this is the thing, because I think what happens a lot is because, how do I say this? A lot of people have an issue about trying to control things in their life. I'll just say it like that. And what happens is if you're constantly trying to control everything, you end up you might create success, but it's success with struggle instead of success without struggle. And when you start to get into the flow, which is basically what you're talking about, Viktoriia, there is you can sense these rhythms. I call it a synchronicity that happens, and it's something when I'm working with my clients, what I'm doing is helping them get in. As they attune to their own body and they start to understand what's going on rhythmically in here, they become automatically more in sync with what's going on in the universe, and they're not hitting their head against the wall so much. Like, how many of us, I'm sure there's people out there who can relate to, hey, I really wanted to get this done. I put in all this energy and I just felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. It's almost like I'm hitting my head against a wall, and I do believe there's a natural rhythm and timing for things to, and I don't think, I'm not sure how much of this rests within us and how much of it comes from,
the collective.
Yeah, and planetary influence, right? Like if you think of now, it seems to me that just knowing the little bit I know about your calendar, which isn't as much as I obviously need to know. I'm so excited, you guys. Listen, I bought it for me, so I do want you to look into this for yourself. And we're going to put her website up again in a few minutes. But it seems to me that there's some numerology involved here, because we're looking at people's birthdays. So is it more astrological or numerological, or both when you do these?
All of it.
Okay.
When people ask me, what is it? It's not astrological. It has nothing to do with astrology. It's numerological. I mean, everything is numerology. Look, everything is mathematics in the world. And just if you understand, and I know it might sound woo-woo, but it's not woo-woo. In this world, we're coming with everything has codes. Like information is the code. It's a math, like information. Everything is energetically informational. In this world, and we coming in this world with one metric, which is our code, our birthday. We have nothing else. We coming with this thing. And if you know how to uncode it, that's what basically astrology do, human design, and all the modalities. They're all telling pretty much the same thing, but from the different standpoint, because they've been uncoded by different people from different part of the world, different downloads. And this is, it's too, that's why we're looking at your birthday, because that's how we can get aligned you with the collective. Because otherwise, how do I know? Like, I'm not psychic. I mean, I am psychic in terms of like, I don't know what do you need to do, like who you were in the old life, past life, this life, like your code, your date of birth It's your code. So it's a key to the world, like to this thing. And I think you got to utilize it so much. I love the whole different modalities and things that helps us to really understand ourselves better. And this really helped me understand myself better and not work 2 more days. Like a lot of people said, I don't want to work 2 more days. Like, wow, this from this mindset, yeah, it's definitely hard to leave, but there is a pacing, right, of taking days off on, like, we can't go for 4 days nonstop, but then we burn out. And a lot of people start feeling that.
Right.
The most common question that the most common, not the excuse, but the most common reason I hear from people that coming to me, why did you quit your 9 to 5? Why did you start it? Why you want to be entrepreneur? Did you want to guess, Carla? What is it? What is the reason?
That people, why did they quit their job? Oh, because they didn't have control over their time, right?
Yeah, I just want to control my own schedule.
Yeah.
That's the sentence. It's like, yes, because you're feeling it. You start feeling it. You don't want to live on somebody else's rhythms because they have their own rhythms and you're in your own rhythms, and sometimes it's not matching.
Yeah.
And it's awesome to know them.
Yeah. And if you've ever worked in, and I imagine I don't know enough about all of your history, but I'm going to guess that you worked in a corporate job at some point in your background. And when you work in a corporation, what happens is you kind of have to get on the train. The train's moving, it's leaving the platform, and you have to jump whether you want to be on the train or not. It doesn't matter whether you packed your bags, your schedule's ready, you get on the train. That's what my experience was of corporate. And there were things I loved about it. I mean, I loved, the camaraderie that I had with the teams that I worked with. And, there were parts of it that were a lot of fun. But like you said, I became an entrepreneur partially so I could start, because my health took a beating from the film industry and the kind of hours I was putting in. And the universe forced me on a path to become conscious about my body, my timing, and also, what is that having control over my time was probably the most important thing. A lot of people are not willing to become entrepreneurs because they don't want the responsibility. They don't feel they're built to be an entrepreneur. They're not ready to do the work. That's another thing that sort of turns people off. And what would you say to somebody out there who might be watching our show today? That what would be the thing that you'd like to, if you had 1 or 2 nuggets that you were going to pass along to somebody who's thinking about that maybe they've lost their job because of COVID? We've had a lot of people. That's one of the things we've been talking about over the last few episodes is a lot of people were forced again out of their jobs that they thought they could depend on forever because of what's happened with COVID. So what would be some nuggets you'd like to pass along to somebody who's considering maybe putting up their own shingle, becoming an entrepreneur for the first time in their life?
Yeah, get very clear on what is the purpose, why you're doing it, and what is the purpose today. I always give this one question I would like to leave you with is every day, there's a million things you will want to do. But get very clear in the morning, ask yourself this question. And I want you to write that down if you have a pen and paper. If not, I'll repeat it another time, but it's magical. It's a miracle question. So what is the number one thing that gets to happen today in order for this day to be an exceptional and purposeful day? And again, I'll repeat it again. What is the number one thing that gets to happen today to this day will be an extraordinary and purposeful day? Get very clear in the morning and then get it done. Get it done. Be that person that chose the thing and done it. Once you get this thing done, you feel so empowered to get other things done because you've done the most important thing. It's a mindset trick. Then you will be so much more excited and empowered to get the other things done. So if you are starting entrepreneur, get very clear what is the number one thing that will be purposeful and needle mover for you. Because there's a million things. Don't get caught up really in all the to-do list. Get
Well, and also
very clear.
looking at why are you, what is it that you want from your life? Like, I mean, I think that would be another piece I would say to people is like, look, do you want to be at the effect of somebody else for the rest of your life? That's the question. Because how would it be like one of the gifts that Viktoriia has, and I'm blessed to have as well, is we can do our job from anywhere in the world. We could travel anywhere in the world and set up shop. I have an international team, right? I have, and I have different streams of income, and I don't know about you, but I have my essential oils business and all of that goes with that. I have my healing work, and I have my workshops and my seminars, and so, and you probably have multiple things going as well, given, your history and everything. But just to help them, we've got a couple minutes here before we wrap up. So what would be, is there anything else that you feel like you really want to share today about the importance of understanding this energetic schedule for yourself?
Yeah. Importance of understanding it is that you get to be you. It's so easy to cut up and be somebody else, of working for somebody else, or being an entrepreneur. It doesn't matter. It's so important to be you, no matter what you do and where you're in the world. If you in tune with yourself, if you in tune with your life, if you in tune with your partner, the life will flow. Like, you won't need to push that through. And this is the biggest lesson for all of us, for me and for all of us. It's to stop being in this masculine always. Masculine's amazing, but not 24/7. And it's a woman's health revolution TV. Ladies, like this is not healthy for us. Just be you, and be us. It's being more feminine.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
And
Thank you. Was there something else you wanted to say? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's
okay.
Good.
So Viktoriia, I want to thank you so much for coming on here today. I really hope that people take this to heart. You have some great things that you're offering people. And I honestly wish that I had known about this, many years ago. I think it's a great thing. And even if you, you think you've got your scheduling together, you think, there's all these books out there that I've read on time management. I'm sure some of you have as well. And for me, I'll just say that personally, none of those has ever really resonated with me. Sometimes even, most of the books were written by men. Most of them were. This isn't about men bashing, by the way. I love men. I'm happily married to one. But
and you know what, Carla? It's beautiful because it works. The old time management techniques works because some of us just really need to, really get the time management right. But your time management won't work if your energy management is not correct. Like, you won't feel it. You will schedule things out, but you will sit down and not doing it. So it's very important to get with the tune of yourself, that you can execute on time management. Don't take it off time management off the shelves. They're great, but you got the energetic management gotta get first. Yeah. And then the time management. And they're written most by men, for sure.
And that makes, a lot more sense to me. So thank you so much for coming on today. Again, everybody, if you can please share Women's Health Revolution TV.com with your friends, subscribe, get the word out, share. And this is a great way to watch the reruns on the show. I've shown her, I'm going to put it up here again. You can go to purposefulday.com to learn more about Viktoriia and what she offers. I want to thank you so much for coming on today. It's been a pleasure having you. And I'm just really excited for, where we're going in 2021. Next show will be in 2 weeks. So please come back and see. I'm going to keep the new year a surprise for you because I'm actually not sure where we're going to go with the next show. But I want to, wish you all, for those of you, I want to wish you all a very, very happy new year. And much success, joy, abundance, good health. And if you have questions, please reach out to me at Carla@womenshealthrevolution.com, or just go to Women's Health Revolution TV. Now, I'm going to just remind you also, for those of you who haven't seen, this is the most recent book. I'm going to go here, and you can get this up on Amazon, Women in the Modern Business World, and it has stories from 13 women entrepreneurs from around the world. I'm the first chapter, and the book is it's already now reached #1 in Amazon, and it's also as a bestseller in Germany. So I want to encourage you to get the book. There's some great stories in here from women from around the world who share their best nuggets on things. And then also, just keep watching, because you'll be seeing some more stuff, some cool things coming out in the year. So, and if you haven't already friended me on Facebook, please do that. You can also find Viktoriia on Facebook as well. And thank you so much, everybody. You have a good day. All right. And we're going to go to, here we go.
At work, I was constantly feeling anxious.
But I'm feeling much stronger and clearer about it all.
For me, one of the many aha moments was how to breathe.